yourselves on the issues at hand. I also especially want to thank the candidates for participating in this forum and for their willingness to give their time to public office. The candidates have been briefed on the process, but I'll review it for the benefit of the audience. And while I'm doing that, I would like to remind you all to please turn off or mute your cell phones or whatever other electronic devices you might have that might make noise. This is out of respect for the candidates and so that everyone else can hear the responses of the candidates. We're going to begin with the Todd County Commissioners, and then we will move into the legislators. The legislative candidates will follow that. Each segment of the forum will be timed. Liz Capistrant is with the Staples-Motley Area Chamber of Commerce, and she has a timer and cards that she will show the candidates so that they'll know when they have a minute left or when they have 30 seconds left, and when her card says 0, they can finish their sentence, but then they stop talking. Otherwise, I said I would interrupt them. All questions from the audience are to be submitted in writing and given to the members of the Long Prairie Chamber. So if you have a question that you finished writing, just hold it up, wave your hand, and someone will come and get it. They will be given to the publishers here at the front table, and they're going to be sorting them into categories for me. We expect to get questions on a lot of similar topics, and so they'll kind of sort them into topics, and I will try to paraphrase the questions so that we can cover as much within that topic as possible. We expect that we'll be getting, as I said, a lot of questions, and we will probably not get to all of the questions that we'll have tonight. And all I can say is I'm sorry, I wish we had more time, but I'm sure the candidates will be around after, so that if you want to ask them something specifically or meet with them individually, I'm sure they all would be glad to do that. So, each candidate, this is the process we'll use. Each candidate has 1 minute for an opening statement, probably just a brief biographical statement. And we'll begin with the commissioners on this end in District 1. Then the commissioners have been given 2 questions ahead of time to prepare for, and I will call on them individually to respond. I'll read the question for you, the benefit of the audience, and then they will each have a chance to answer that. We'll proceed to the second one. Then we will move on to audience questions. And so they may be directed towards a specific individual, but all of the commissioners will have a chance to answer it. All of the candidates will have a chance to answer it. And in this section, they will have 1 minute to respond to your questions. We also expect that all participants and all of the audience members will listen intently and respect the stated positions. As I mentioned, the candidates will be available after the forum for follow-up if you wish to speak to them directly. After the commissioner section, we will have a 5-minute break, very quick, no more than 5 minutes, just enough to let the legislative candidates come up to the table. And then we will start the legislative portion of the forum. Okay, our commissioner candidates are in District 1, Barb Becker and Mark Blessing. In District 2, Gary Kneisel and Dean Miners. In District 3, Rodney Erickson and Gerald Runa. And in District 5, Randy Newman, who is running unopposed. District 4 did not change in the redistricting process, and so that commissioner's term will continue. We will begin with Barb Becker for her opening statement. And there are microphones there. So please, we've got a lot of people and appreciate you coming. Up, push it up, there you go.
Okay, good evening and thank you for inviting us. My name is Barb Becker and I'm a daughter of a farmer and a wife of a farmer. I'm a lifetime resident of Todd County. Dan and I live 8 miles south of Staples. We have 5 children and 7 grandchildren. I have been currently involved in being the treasurer of Moran Township for 11 years. I am a representative of District 1 on the unit of townships. I'm the vice chair of the Farm Service Agency of the USDA. I'm also involved with the Todd County Ag Society and a fair board member, and have been involved in the 4-H for over 20 years. I would be very honored to represent you as District 1. As a commissioner, I would like to be one that would listen to all the concerns of the people within the complete county. I'd be a commissioner that would want to take charge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mark Lessing?
Thank you. Welcome everybody here tonight. Mark Lessing, lived in Staples all my life. Married to my wife Kathy. We've got 9 children, 6 grandchildren. I've worked worked for the Todd County Public Works for 23 years. Was elected in 2005 for county commissioner and elected again in 2008. I've enjoyed working this position, doing hopefully things that are good for the county, not just my district, but all the county. Keeping an open mind. I do want to welcome Bartlett Township, now that's going to be districting, come in, so I welcome them as well. I'm running short of time, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gary Kneisel?
I'm Gary Kneisel, married to my wife Kathy for 32 years. We have 4 kids and 3 grandkids. I farm north of Hewitt. Basically, I farm my dad's farm and land that I bought myself. I've been commissioner for 6 years. This is my 6th year, and I've learned a lot, and I enjoy it, and I'd like to continue being commissioner for Todd County.
Thank you. Dean Miners?
Good evening. My name is Dean Miners. I lived for 42 years miles south of Clarissa, a dairy farm and a beef farm, and I ran a business in Clarissa for 32 years. I served as a commissioner from 02 to 07, but I did not run for re-election at that time due to a health issue, which is not a problem anymore. I served 5 years in the military. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I belong to almost every organization in Clarissa and probably chaired, and I'm interested in trying it again. I know I gained a lot of experience in the first term that I was in there, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson?
My name is Rod Erickson. I was born and raised in Long Prairie, attended Long Prairie Public Schools K through 12. My wife and I now own and operate Countryside Plumbing and Heating and have for 28 years. I served on the Long Prairie Regional School Board for 11 and a half years. Enjoyed that, and I'm just looking for a new adventure here, feeling that I can come in with new ideas and maybe a new outlook for the county to make the quality of life in Todd County better.
Thank you. Mr. Rudin?
Good evening. I'm Jerry Rudin. First of all, I'd like to thank the newspapers and the Chambers of Commerce for organizing and sponsoring tonight's forum. I've lived in Long Prairie 47 years. My wife and I have been married 45 years. We have 5 grown children, 8 plus grandchildren. And I've had the privilege of serving for 8 of the last 12 years as the District 3 County Commissioner. I'm running for re-election because I believe the current county board has made some significant improvements in how Todd County operates. I'd like to be a part of continuing those activities. because I believe that Todd County government can continue to do things better, faster, and cheaper than what they did in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Newman.
Thank you. I also want to thank Todd County newspapers and chambers for being on this forum, and thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. My name is Commissioner Randy Newman. I represent District 5, which is the southwest corner of Todd County. I am married to my wife Barb. We've been married 8 years. I have 2 children, 4 stepchildren, 13 step-grandchildren, and a golden retriever. So we have an active house in Osakis. I just want to tell everybody, thank you for coming.
Great. Thank you. We will now move on to the first prepared question that they have, and this is, I will read it for you now. List your top 3 budget priorities in relation to a balanced budget. And we'll start with Mr. Kneisel.
Number 1 is to provide the services to the public of Todd County. Number 2 is to keep the funds of Todd County in good, healthy condition. And when I first got into the public office, our social service fund was in the red. And we've gotten that up into very good shape, and so I want to keep them funds in good shape. My third one is in providing the services, we have to keep the employees happy, and we want to keep our employees happy, and so that's my thing.
Thank you. Mr. Miners.
I don't know if these are necessarily in order, but one thing we can do is promote more building and development in the county, which would mean additional tax base. And number 2 would be to use our county attorney's office a lot more than we do, instead of spending money for outside legal advice. I've heard up to $100,000 a year is spent for outside legal advice. Another thing that I've thought about for a long time, I have property in Hubbard County, and I think they have a very good system for their solid waste. They have a higher annual fee, which is like $99, but people can bring their stuff in anytime or anything, and they have dumpsters set up and all labeled for aluminum, for cardboard, so it eliminates would be less employees under that plan, and I think it would keep people from hoarding their stuff until the day they have it free. And I think that would maybe spread things out a little bit. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Erickson.
I think my top 3 priorities in relationship to keeping a balanced budget would be the health and safety of the citizens of the Todd County, which can fall into a lot of different aspects, but water qualities, zoning regulations, things like that, that we just really need to keep as top priorities, although we're looking at trying to make cuts or make things to keep a balanced budget. I think we really need to keep in mind the health and safety of the citizens of the Todd County would have to rank as number 1. Number 2, I think economic growth and opportunity is always a thing. I think we need to try to be promoting growth in the county, enhancing things, enticing businesses to look at Todd County, or maybe existing businesses expanding, and maybe put some kind of incentives out there for businesses like that. I think another thing that we have to take a look at is just our day-to-day operating efficiency. And I don't think it matters which divisions we look at within the county. I think there's always room for improvement. And I guess, to me, by reviewing and revising we're looking at things on a day-to-day basis, making sure we're getting everything that we can for our dollar. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ruda?
Yes, my top priority is what I call fiscal responsibility. Excuse me. Using the financial resources of Todd County to get the greatest return on each and every dollar. Secondly, I believe that we need to maintain what we have, to take care of what we have. Take care of our buildings, take care of our equipment, and make sure that we have the most efficient and economical machines and equipment for our employees. Finally, I would like to see the board continue to work towards a 0% levy for 2014, and that's going to be a significant challenge. But our experience over the last 3 years is that our staff, our employees, have figured out ways to save money and reduce waste. And I would hope that they would continue to do that in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Newman?
I would start out with Public Works. I think our roads are really important to us to get our constituents to and from, and the public. I am really proud as a commissioner for the past 8 years of having compliments from other county residents saying what good roads we have in Todd County, and I'm proud of that. Public safety. I feel that we need a good law enforcement. Once again, I have to agree with Mr. Miners that you have to utilize the county attorney a lot more, and I try to do that a lot. I mean, I'm in his office a lot. The other thing would be health and human services. The past 4 years, a lot of people have been struggling out there. A lot of seniors, and I'm worried about the seniors. We have winter coming up. It's cold. They're struggling. Are they going to be able to afford to heat their homes? That is something that, as a commissioner, we need to look at. Our constituents, which you guys are very vital to us, and we need to make sure that you're represented well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Becker?
Well, my answer is a little bit different. But I got the questions on Friday afternoon, so what do? I go onto the computer. And as I'm looking through the computer, I find this. And if I could, I'd like to read it. And it comes from the administration department, and it's this description. And it's the second paragraph. It says, the administrator serves as the chief financial officer of the county, and in this capacity reviews the financial status of the county and reports to the county board. The administrator is responsible for preparing and executing of the budget, as well as the long-range financial and capital planning. Well, my first priority is get that budget set back to the commissioners and the heads of the departments. Those are the people who know what and where to put our tax dollars. The other thing that upset me when I was reading this is they call it deficit budgeting. And I'd never heard that term until I got into the computer that night. And it's where you rob, let's say, Peter to pay Paul. I don't think that should be allowed or even considered into county financial business. My third priority is zero taxing. If you're going to do taxing, call it taxing. You go out to the townships and we're being charged for ditching. That's not a tax. If I have to pay $1 more to Long Prairie, it's a tax. And if you're going to do it, call it taxing. Okay?
Thank you. Mr. Blessing?
Yes, my first priority would be to provide assistance to our Todd County constituents or customers that need our services through programs from the federal, state, and county set up. Also to maintain efficiency and high standards of quality to our customers because they deserve that. They deserve to be treated equally and well. My second would be maintain a high level of safety to our constituents through law enforcement in Todd County, as well as working with local law enforcement throughout Todd County, state patrol, whatever it might be. We all need to work together to provide a good security for everyone and safety. And my third would be to provide and excel in public infrastructure, maintaining the roads that we do have the opportunity to improve the roads, bridges, bikeways, and parks. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. The second question that the candidates were given was, explain your strategy for the county continuing to provide quality service and outcomes without raising the levy and depleting employee morale. And we will start with Mr. Erickson.
I think the key to that question is just by operating more efficiently. I think we need to work with department heads, listen to employees, and number one, listen to the people of the county. I think a lot of people out there have a lot of good ideas that aren't being implemented. I think that there's room for lots of improvement in many of the areas within the county. And I think if you would just implement some of the smaller ones, it would mean a lot in the morale end of the people that are bringing the ideas in the fact that they're actually showing or that they're helping out in trying to make the county more efficient. I think as far as the morale end of it, I think you just need to tell people they're doing a good job. Maybe use some of their ideas. Let them be a part of making their decision work for the county, and I think that things can change drastically. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ruda?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank the Todd County employees for all they've done the past 4 years. As we, the county board, has asked them to work through many changes in the structure of the various offices and departments within the county. Todd County's been part of a movement to redesign Minnesota. Along with other counties, we're exploring ways of doing things better, cheaper, and faster. Now, some of our members, or some of our employees right now are going through a study, a program called LEAN, L-E-A-N, and it implies lean government. It's an effort to systematically reduce waste by eliminating different stages of processing information. We've tried to provide our employees with the best technological equipment that we can afford, and then with the idea that we hope that they are using it and reducing the ultimate cost of operating. We have a dedicated staff, and we know that they will continue to look for ways in which they can help us save money. My wife's grandfather used to, back many years ago, I smoked, and if I'd light a cigarette, he'd be over there to light his pipe off the same match. Save a match and buy a farm. And he bought several farms.
Thank you. Mr. Newman?
Last week we had a leadership meeting, and I told the administrator, I do not like the term customers. You are not a customer. You are our boss. We work for you. You vote us in. Working together, I think we can get a lot done. Right now, I don't think we're all on the same team. We need to somehow get on the same team, and that also starts with one thing: leadership. Leadership starts at the top, and at that top is the 5 commissioners of the county. We need strong leadership. We need to stop the turmoil. Right now, the morale in our county is bad. I'll be honest with you. And I will continue to work to boost that morale up, to work with the employees, and get them on the same page with us. You cannot handle going to work and feel threatened. And that's what I'm seeing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Becker?
Also on the internet, when I was just busy working, I found this other thing, and it was called soft hiring. It's where they're combining the departments. Now, as a business owner, if I would hire a cook and all of a sudden make her a dishwasher, she would not be happy. And that is what's happening within the county. We are making our departments smaller, where certain departments are backing up other departments, so they're shifting people around to fulfill their needs. And my question is to make something run, you have to have so many employees. And to hire those employees for what they're trained to do, you'll get more work out of them at a more efficient pace. And so that's what I come back at, is let's take a look at our employees. Let's have happy employees. We'll be much better off. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Blessing?
Yes, Todd County has improved significantly with quality service to the constituents and people that we do serve. Because of the consolidation of departments, we can maintain the 0% that we've talked about throughout the county, and most of all because of the education, technology, and willingness of the Todd County employees. They've all been part of this for the last year and a half, trying to work together, and we appreciate all their comments. As commissioners, we've heard from several of them when we had these committee meetings. And the employees have stepped up and worked as a team, and I'm proud of the Todd County employees for what they've done, their dedication to Todd County. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knizel?
I have to agree a lot with what Mr. Blessing and Mr. Ruda said. The counties have been involved in a lot of these consolidations. We've gotten ideas from them on how to make these consolidations work better. And so that's how we've been able to make these consolidations work. The employees have been very much involved. And I hope that they feel that they've been involved, because we've tried to make them feel that they've been involved. And just yesterday, I sent an email to one of the employees, a compliment her on the good job that she did, and she emailed me back with a nice thank you. And that's the little things that we can do to our employees, and giving them compliments and on the good work that they do.
Thank you. Mr. Miners?
I'd like to go over the question again. How can a county continue to provide quality service while trying to balance the budget? That's a pretty tough order. I don't know if that's even possible. My thought is either we raise the levy, which nobody wants to do, or we're going to have to ask the employees to take a freeze, which wouldn't help the morale at all. And I think it has to be one way or the other. We give the board credit for holding the levy where it is for the last couple of years, I believe. And they proposed it probably to 2014. I mean, I hope we can, but it's going to be a tough order. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to remind you all that if you do have questions, please write them on the note cards, wave them, and give them. The ladies will come and pick them up. It appears from some of our questions and some of the responses so far that we've covered a lot of the questions that we already have up here. And as I mentioned before, we have a lot of duplicates, so I'm going to be trying to combine questions. But One of the ones that seemed to come forward was on county administrator. During this round, I will remind you that the candidates have 1 minute to answer these questions from now on. So this is going to go quicker. So the question regarding the county administrator, is this position a necessary one? Why is it important for the county to have an administrator? What kinds of power and authority should they have? And if not, if there should not be, then identify who in the county would be responsible for some of the tasks in that job description. And with this, we are going to begin with Mr. Newman.
1 minute, okay.
1 minute.
You will see my response in the paper, thank you. No. I answered no to this question. I would terminate the position, okay? I would put somebody underneath the auditor treasurer. I think right now our administrator has too much authority. The commissioners are the ones that should give the direction, not be directed by the administrator. So that's how I feel about it.
Thank you. Ms. Vicker?
Excuse me. I have to agree with that. I believe the county administrator has too much power right now. I think the commissioners have to be in charge of the county. And I don't know if they gave him the power or he solely took the power. But either way, he seems to be more, even reading, has more authority to rule than I would like to see. I would like to see a financial advisor under the auditor treasurer. I think there's a place for grant writing and things like that are not covered by the other offices. So a position is necessary. As it is today, I would probably say no, I wouldn't agree with the way they're handling the administrator. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Blessing?
Yes, I've been in this position for 8 years. We started out with an individual kind of as a coordinator, and he was very limited what he could do. Having a administrator there, because of their knowledge and training, their schooling, it works for the county board. He gathers information, brings it to the board. The board does make the final decisions. And I do support the position of administrator because he's the central hub working with department heads, employees, as well as commissioners back and forth. And over the last 3 or 4 years, the county has saved money. We're all team players, and it takes all of us. It takes you during the elections to bring your concerns forth. It takes us as commissioners to act on those, bring things forth. And we've had positive results for the county and for our constituents, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kanizel?
I actually voted no for commissioner or administrator. But the first 2 years I was on the board, we didn't have no administrator. And I couldn't figure out how he could keep busy. But in what we've seen with our administrator, we've given him a lot of things to do, and he's very busy. I think the day-to-day stuff is very important, to have somebody there on a day-to-day to monitor things and to help coordinate things. So I will support our administrator from now on.
Thank you. Mr. Miners?
I know that the job of administrator administrator does make the job a lot easier for the commissioners. My last 2 years on the board, we did not have one. He required more work from us commissioners, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I do think that we need a commissioner, but I don't think we need a full-time commissioner. Excuse me, administrator. I met with the Wadena County Board in '06, and they don't have a administrator, and I don't know if they do yet today. But I asked if there was any way we could share an administrator, like 2 days there and 3 days here. And they said they sounded very interested. But I don't know if the board ever pursued that to look into it or not. But that's what I think would save us some money, and I don't know that he is that busy myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson.
I think that the position of administrator has a lot of opportunity to be reviewed or looked at on changes, and I know there's been a lot of concerns from the citizens of the county in regards to that position. I think that it's a good thing to have a central person for a go-to person, but I believe there's a lot of room for change in the description of the person and responsibility of the person. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ruda.
Well, I support the idea of having a county administrator. You have 5 commissioners, 4 elected department heads, 5 appointed department heads, all trying to operate a business that involves a $40 million overall budget that is federal, state, and local funds. $12.3 million comes out of the pockets of Todd County taxpayers. And you need some, and we have 107, I think we're at 180 employees at the moment, all doing a variety of jobs. You need someone who understands public finance. You need someone who is very aware of public administration, i.e. the management of the staff and all those programs. And just imagine school districts without a superintendent. I can't imagine, and I've worked under Wadena County Commissioner without any leadership in that respect, a coordinator and now an administrator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll move on to the next question. I've got you all checked off, I think, on that one. As I mentioned before, a lot of the questions we're getting have all are related to some that you had in your opening statements on the budget and levy and so on. Here is one on the other side of it. What specific plans do you, as a commissioner, have to grow Todd County's tax capacity? What will you, as a commissioner, do to promote economic development? And please be as specific as you can in your responses. And we are going to start this round with Mark Blessing.
Well, I believe that we're all in agreement that economic development is a big thing. We need jobs. We need good paying jobs. We need people to be employed, not employed. We've got a fairly good start with the county economic development individual that we have. Been busy, been up and down the roads, doing a good job actually of bringing things in, discussing things. They've worked well with Region 5 out of Staples that covers the 5 counties. With their economic development, the city themselves have worked well. And I believe that Todd County's economic developer has been to most cities in the town, in the county, excuse me. The other thing is that we need to make sure that some of the procedures and protocols for agriculture and farming, that's a big part of Todd County. It always has been and it's still going to be. And we need to make sure that they're not forgotten, that somewhere along the line we need to work with bringing that together, through, whether it's through our planning and zoning group or whatever. But okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knizel.
I'm on the Economic Development Board, and one of the first things that any new business wants to know about is how much broadband do you have, how much capacity do you have for a computer. Computers are very important to any business, and even the farming community is. I'm on the Livestock Advisory Board, and the Livestock Advisory Board was one of the first ones that encouraged our commissioners to look into broadband, because technology is so important to the agriculture community now. And so my biggest concern is trying to get broadband to all the homes in Todd County, and we've been working on that. And obviously the cost is a big thing, and so we're looking for grants and all that kind of stuff. So if we can get that, if we don't get it, Todd County is going to be left behind. So that's an important part of economic development.
Thank you. Mr. Miners.
I have to agree with Mark and Gary that agriculture is a big part of Todd County, and it's getting bigger. I just talked to a guy today that wanted to build a garage, and he has a mound system for his septic, which is only 8 years old. And they said he had to have an update on his septic system before he could build a garage. I don't know if some of this has changed lately, but it used to be, you know, if you added a deck, a garage, a bedroom, or whatever, you had to have your septic system updated. And I think that's going overboard. I think that we would have a lot more tax base in the county if that rule wasn't there. More people would build but are holding off rather than having to spend money on their septic system. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson?
I think when we're talking about economic growth, we not only have to look at the new business side of things, but at the existing businesses within the county, and also trying to work with them on expansions, and things that would enhance their businesses, things that we have in Todd County that would maybe promote their business better or help them to expand. I think too, you could maybe look at expanding the position, as others were talking about, possibly reviewing or revising the administration position, that maybe you could use some of that money to expand your economic development areas that would maybe bring in more businesses to the county. So I think we not only have to look at what the county has to offer for businesses coming in, but things that we could maybe do to entice them or enhance the opportunity for expansion or growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rudin?
First of all, many of us here supported the idea of the Todd County Economic Development Corporation being reviewed, revitalized, and re-energized. And in the past year, 38 new jobs have come to Todd County thanks to the Economic Development Corporation. Another thing that's going on is something called Grow Minnesota. The Long Prairie Area Chamber of Commerce has been involved with this. It does work with existing businesses to try to keep them here. That's a very important point. I think along with that, as Commissioner Kneisel mentioned, the fiber ban. I'm not sure if it has to go to every home, but we need to have 21st century technology for our young people, and the number of people who can work from their homes in Todd County and do business in the Twin Cities is phenomenal.
Thank you. Mr. Newman?
I run a small engine snowmobile repair shop in Osaka, so it's hard. Mine is based on the weather and everything else, but the economy right now, people don't have the money to spend. To grow economics right now, what we need to do is create more jobs, take some of the regulations off. We are working on an economic, with the Economic Committee. We have a Livestock Advisory Committee that is working with the livestock that we have generated. We just initiated a broadband committee to help get broadband throughout Todd County. And that's going to be based on the gentlemen that are going to come up next on here. They're going to have to come up with the funding and figure out how we can get broadband in Todd County. We can work with them and do our best, but we need to work with our state legislatures to get broadband in the Todd County.
Thank you. Ms. Baker?
Well, this is an interesting question, being that we've been farmers for most of all of our married life. Rural development is very important to us. The zoning laws and regulations have been very important. The other thing that's different with us is we just started a new business over in Bertha. And with that, I can tell you there are tons of people out there looking for jobs. Young people, older people. We have to find jobs available for these people, young and old. There has to be some kind of a program, some kind of funding that we can get going to get these people working. They have such a better view of themselves if they're earning money, paying their own way. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we have received several questions related to a proposed feedlot. I'm going to ask, considering both the environmental and the economic impact, so it's related to the previous question, please identify your position on large feedlots being established in Todd County. One of the questions even had quite a bit of data to show the effect on Lake Osakis of that particular one that's proposed now. So please be as specific as you can. And we will start with Dean Miners with this question.
I'm not too up to date on this. I know this is in Leslie Township. Am I right, Randy? I know we just had a big hog operation go in west of Eagle Bend. And as far as I know, I don't hear complaints around it. We have a pretty big hog operation a couple miles north of Clarissa. I have yet to smell anything going by. And nowadays they do inject the manure into the ground, so you don't really get the smell. We also have to look at the surrounding residents, if it's going to be an effect on them, maybe they should probably look for a little different area or somehow work it out with the people that live around there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson.
I have researched this a little bit, not in depth yet by any means. I think there's a lot of concerns that the county hasn't looked at this point yet. I think there's some high water tables out in that area. I think a lot of the concern is coming from the people on more of the area on where the manure is going to be spread, the quantity of the manure that's going to be spread on the area. If you do the math on that, that becomes to be a very heavy load. And I think with high water tables and being close to the lake and close to the river, there are some definite concerns. I think one of the things that the county could do first would maybe be to contact the people from the area that these farms are coming from. and just see what they're dealing with down in their areas. The response that you get from hometown people is some of the best advice that you could possibly have when you're looking at something of the sort coming to your area. And something so simple as a phone call could go a long ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ruda.
Earlier, I outlined 6 things that I was looking at when I made or will make that decision at a board meeting. Todd County's land use ordinance and comp plan talk about the importance of agriculture in Todd County. It's a $7 million investment which will put about $2 million on the tax base. I'm concerned about the neighbors. I like clean air and a good environment. I'm concerned about the 140,000 bushels of corn that they'll be buying every year from Todd County farmers or farmers in this area. The water quality, all of these issues are very, very important in making that decision. The MPCA made a decision on Monday afternoon. I have not had a chance to read that entire document. I will do that between now and November 6th.
Thank you. Mr. Newman.
I was down to St. Paul Monday with about 26 constituents. Down at the MPCA. Lights were on, nobody was home. Economic-wise, they're going to bring all their help from Iowa up here. They're not going to hire anybody around here. That concerns me. They're not going to buy corn from here. They raise it down in Iowa. You know, they have 3,000 acres. They're going to bring it in. They said if they can't buy it here, they'll buy it from a feed store. As far as the environment goes, the MPCA in Todd County Water and Soil spent $3 million of your money to clean up that river. Now we're going to stick a 4,000 animal unit hog barn a quarter mile from 8 residents, a mile or 14 residents within a mile of it. That's not right. The water table's high. Dismal Creek runs right into the Long Prairie River. It's right next to Dismal Creek. I'm not against hog farming. I am against the location of this facility because of all the money that you guys spent to clean up that river.
Thank you. Ms. Vicker?
I'm not real familiar with this hog farm that they're talking about. I am familiar with the one that's in the Eagle Bend, Bertha area. I know the people who are running it. They are employing people from the Bertha area, and they are buying the corn from a local area feed mill. What concerns me is where it's located and what it's going to do with the land. And we have to be very careful, and we have to uphold our land uses. And so with that, I won't make any other judgments on it because I'm not that well informed on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Blessing?
Well, as you know, I'm a city slicker. I can tell the difference between hog manure and cow manure. I'm going to probably leave it at that. But my biggest concern is for individuals of their properties, where this is located, what effect it's going to have on them. If I can be guaranteed 100%, there'd be no smell, everything going in the ground, it'd be good, it's not going to do this or that. It's positive, we have job growth. I probably wouldn't have a real problem with it. But until I get other information, my biggest concern is for the area of the people that are in, so that they're not compromised, or they're going to have to pull up stakes and leave and say, the heck with it, I'm not going to fight this. Everybody has the right, they've been there a long time, the individuals there. Bearing any other information we might pick up between now and the first part of November, my decision will be made at the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go through one more round of questions. Sorry, I didn't have you checked off yet. Please, Mr. Kneisel.
Like Mr. Ruda said, I haven't been able to read the whole statement from the MPCA. I started reading it, but I haven't got through all of it. I've been out to the site. I've seen it. I don't like where they're going to build a barn. And so I'm in the next week or so, I'm going to have to make a decision, and so I'm going to try to gather all the information I can and educate myself more on this situation.
Thank you, and I apologize I checked you off early. Sorry. Okay, we will do one more round of questioning with the commissioners, and we're going to bring it back. A lot of these questions have to do with taxes, and so we're going to bring it back to budgets and taxes. Can you specify what actions the county can take to offset the changes in the homestead credit and the market evaluation, the new system that the legislature brought in last year? And first on this is Mr. Ruda.
Wow. Todd County is supposed to change what the legislature did in terms of the tax homestead credits and so forth. I know we can't change that formula. The Department of Revenue sends us a formula that we have to plug our numbers into. All that we as commissioners, I believe, can do is to work as hard as we can to keep that levy as low as we possibly can. We can't rearrange the levies on commercial property versus homesteads, ag property versus recreational property. That is all done in St. Paul, and I will work as hard as I can to keep the levy as low as I can, and that's the best I can work towards.
Thank you. Mr. Newman.
I have to agree with Mr. Ruda. I mean, we were kind of shocked. We were kind of shocked when. It does. Yeah. So, but you know, we were kind of shocked when the legislature come back and eliminated the homestead credit, and it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? And we lived through it, and I think it helped the state balance their budget a little bit. As far as taxes and stuff, I just got informed yesterday that Pheasants Forever did a backdoor on us, coming about 160 acres of farmland in Todd County in Gordon Township, and they're going to donate it to the DNR, which is against, we have a no net gain policy. So the state again, once again, is coming in and taking 160 acres of farmland, and these are fields, off the tax roll, and putting that burden back on us. That is not right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Baker?
Well, there you go with taxes again. The county needs so much money to run. And we have to be very diligent how we're spending our money and only collect what we need. And then we go again is to work with the department heads. They're the ones that can tell us what they need and where they can cut. And so I'm very firm as believing, as the commissioners have to work with the department heads, keep spending as low as we can, and tax as we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Glissing?
Yes, I won't get into the state county kind of thing because I think most everybody is figuring this out. But what we've been trying to do and what we've done with the employees as well as trying to keep taxes down, we've maintained the 0% levy goals. In 2013, now that'll be the third or fourth year we've done that. When you look overall the state, the average is 3.4% levy increase for the counties throughout the state on an average. Taxes seem to go up a little bit. Homestead or housing prices go down we're starting to make a little change, I think, where housing prices are gonna go up, but then you're gonna think, no, that's gonna raise my taxes again. The county will do its level best to keep it at 0% for as long as we can and still maintain and work with what we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kanizel.
As far as the homestead credit thing goes, I know the city legislators are looking at the ag credits. That's the big one that we gotta make sure that our legislators work together to keep that from happening, because if that happens, we're in big trouble. So I like the other commissioners said that our biggest challenge is trying to keep it levy as close to zero as we possibly can, but by still providing the services to the citizens of Todd County.
Thank you. Mr. Miners?
Well, the old saying is the only two sure things in life are death and taxes. And I think there's no way getting away from it. Like Gary said, the ag credit is an important thing for Todd County because we do have a lot of agriculture in our county. And I'm hoping that we can keep the levy where it's at, but I just don't know how you can operate on the same budget year after year. Employees expect pay increases. I know they realize that the economy is poor and they're probably not pushed for a lot, but everything continues to go up. I was self-employed all my life, and so I know what it's like for income to be up and down. So I hope that the employees can understand that too.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson?
I think it's a very repetitive type answer to a question, but when mandates are handed down from upper levels and you're dealt the cards that you get to deal with, no different than Mr. Miners was saying, when you're in business that happens quite often. And I think the thing you look back on each time is just back to the operating efficiently. You try to look for each little spot that you can find where you can maybe make a change and try to do the same quality of service that you're doing right now, but do it more efficiently and at less operating costs. But when you're dealt the cards you're dealt with, it makes it a very tough thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I got you all this time, right? I want to thank the candidates for your very thoughtful answers, and also the audience members for your thoughtful questions. I wish we could have gotten to more of them. We tried to cover a number of topics, and we just ran out of time, but we had some good questions. We are now going to excuse the commissioner candidates. We are going to take just a very quick 5-minute stand up and stretch break and come back here at about 12 minutes past the hour.